Hey guys, it's Michelle from Cozyegg, and I am here today to officially announce the launch of Cozyegg Designs. So I've been alluding to and doing a little bit of posting and sneak peeks on my videos as well as on Instagram, my first pattern that I designed, and today is finally the day. So I wanted to do a quick video, not only to show you my piece and give you some of the specifics about it, but also to talk a little bit about what the inspiration was for the design, and then also talk a little bit about what is next for Cozyegg Designs and what's on the horizon. So let me give you a little bit of background with regard to Cozyegg Designs. So the way that I am going to structure my patterns is I'm going to divide them up into collections, which will be sort of like genres of patterns. So the first collection that I am designing for is called the Nocturne collection. And so within the Nocturne collection, you can envision all sorts of, things that are dark, but also celestial, mystical, things like that. So that's kind of what my vision is for the Nocturne collection. And so the first piece within the Nocturne collection is called Laluna. And so let me show it to you, and then I will talk a little bit about what my inspiration was for this piece. So here she is. So this is Laluna, and obviously this is a Luna moth. Then I have included also a full moon and then two crescent moons, a waxing and a waning on either side of her. I have always been enamored with Luna moths. I think they're beautiful, as well as, they fall into that sort of ethereal category of, the night and, things like lightning bugs and, all of those sorts of things. So it's just sort of magical and ethereal and maybe a little mystical. So here she is. And so I have finished her on a wooden box as a box top, and I'll get into the specifics of that here in just a minute. But I wanted you to see her in all her full glory. So I'm really pleased with how she's coming across on camera, at least to what it looks like to me. The inspiration for this piece. So back in August of last year, you may recall that we had a couple of events. There was a lunar eclipse, followed a few days later, a week later, by a full solar eclipse. So it was during that time and sort of leading up to the lunar eclipse, but also that time between, that my creativity just seemed to take off. And I had had ideas rolling around in my head for quite some time. And you may recall that that Eric gifted me with a charting software not too long ago. I think for my birthday, maybe year before last. Anyway, so during that time in August is when I really started to sit down and actually chart out some of my ideas. And so the first piece that was kind of born out of that is Laluna. And I wanted to evoke, sort of that, like I said, that sort of mystical, mythical, ethereal, kind of feeling, as well as to give a little nod to the fact that we were having both a lunar eclipse and a solar eclipse at the same time, and what those energies, you know, led to as far as my creativity. So that's kind of what spawned it. And after I started working on it, as with anything creative, sometimes you have to put it away for a while and then come back to it. And when I put it away, it took me a few months to get back to it. But when I finally did, I was very happy with it. And so I pulled threads and started actually stitching it. So let's talk about the specifics of the design itself. So as I mentioned, I finished this on a box top, obviously. I will give you a little more specifics on that in a minute, but let's talk about the piece itself. So I stitched this on a piece of 40 count Picture This Plus Gothic. It was actually a piece that was gifted to me, and it's the first time I've ever stitched on Gothic, and it is a stunningly gorgeous piece of fabric. I could not have picked a piece that was more perfect for this design. 40 count Gothic, stitching on it is no joke. So just know that. I would, if I had to do it again, I would probably go to 36 count because it's probably a little easier to see. I stitched this with a couple of Gentle Arts threads, and then the rest are Weeks Dye Works threads, 1/2. And I'm very pleased with the way that it came out. It is all cross stitch with the exception of the antenna, which are back stitched. And so the threads that it calls for, and let me just kind of run through these if I can find my piece of paper. Oh, here it is. Okay, so Weeks Parchment is this light color here. I didn't want stark white, so I went with parchment. Gunmetal is what is used for the dark sides of the moon, because I wanted something that was barely there. I didn't want it to be too much. I just wanted it to be very subtle. Red Rocks is used out on just the outer little bits of the wings. That's a Weeks color as well. Chestnut is used at the top here and in the little eyes, spots, eyes. The green is Gentle Arts Shutter Green, and then the yellow in there is Gentle Arts Ohio Lemon Pie. And then for the antenna, I actually used Weeks Cognac. I do say in the chart that is the only place that cognac is used, so feel free to use, you know, a DMC or something that you have on hand. I wanted something that was in between the Red Rocks and the chestnut. I didn't want it too brown and I didn't want it too red. So cognac was a little bit in the middle. So, and my color kind of shifts a little bit when I get up close there, but you can kind of see the antenna there. So, obviously this is a small piece, so you can easily put it on, a fat quarter of fabric, particularly if you're doing it on a higher count. If you're going up in count, I'm not sure what it turns out to be, but I still think you could get it on a fat quarter, but do your calculations and make sure. The box that I finished this on is a wooden box that I got from Michael's. I painted it, and the specifics of what I used are all in the chart. I painted it with a charcoal gray color, and then I went over it with dark brown brie wax. just to give it kind of a, you can kind of see, it gives it a little bit of a aged look. So it's not just flat gray. You can see a little bit of the antiquing there. And then on the inside, what I did was I actually lined the top and the bottom. And I used a beautiful batik fabric that I thought was similar to the Gothic. So just a beautiful batik fabric. And really all I did was I cut cardboard pieces. I put a layer of cotton batting, quilt batting over it, and then I wrapped the fabric around it and then attached it to the top and the bottom. Easy peasy. Same thing with this piece of cardboard, cotton batting, wrapped my piece around, laced it, and then attached it. And I did glue this down. So thank God it's straight. So part of the reason that I decided to do this as a box is because as soon as I knew that I wanted to do this piece and I started to get the idea for it, I always envisioned it being a box for tarot cards or crystals or runes or something like that. Something that kind of falls in that, you know, mystical, you know, category. So I had to go through several boxes before I finally found one that was large enough to fit a set of tarot cards. So this is my set of, it's the Enchanted Tarot. They're beautiful cards. And I thought that the white would look pretty in that dark box. So I just have those sitting in there. But that was always just kind of my vision, is that it would be a box for something like that. So you can, of course, finish it however strikes your fancy. So there's the piece. I hope you love it as much as I do. I'm thrilled with it. It took a long time to get where I wanted to be, but I'm really thrilled with it. So the chart itself does have all the specifics as far as the fabric I used, the stitch count, what size it is on 40 count, all of the threads that you need. The chart is in black and white symbols. So that's what I prefer. So that's the way that I've charted it. I do, like I said, I have all the specifics on there with regard to how I finished it, which paint I used, which box I used, etc. if you want to do that. And I also made the note about the Weeks Cognac, that you're only using it for the antenna, so you don't really need to just buy a skein of cognac if you don't already have it. So, yeah. So how do you get your hands on the chart? So, you can get it directly from me through my website. So I have set up an area on my website, on my Cozyegg Designs site. It's actually under Cozyegg. And you can see, I will put a link directly to it in this video at the end of it, as well as in the little description box, so that you can go directly to it. But there is a space all prepared for my patterns, and divided up into collection, etc. So it will be a PDF, and you know, you can just do your payment through PayPal, hit that button, PDF, boom, you're done. Then you can start stitching. So super easy. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. As always, you can send me a note at cozyegg@cozyeggdesigns.com. And so then a little look to what's next. So I mentioned that I have envisioned several different collections, one of them being the Nocturne collection. I already know that I'm going to be doing some Egyptian designs. Obviously, Egypt is near and dear to my heart for a number of reasons. But I've already started working on some things there. There will probably be a few more things that are coming with regard to the Nocturne collection that I have already started working on and charting out. So I hope that you are as excited as I am about the designs. I hope that they are, especially starting with Laluna, that they are something that speak to you as they speak to me. And I so appreciate everyone's support and certainty that this would be a good thing. So thank you all so much for that. And my plan is, at this time, my plan is that for each of the designs that I chart out and complete, that I do want to actually stitch them so that I can ensure that they are exactly the way that I intend them to be when I release them, which Laluna actually did go through some changes while I was stitching. So I, had to do a little reworking as I got into it because I found some things that didn't quite work the way that I wanted them to work. So I do intend to do all of my, to stitch all of my models and make sure that they are, like I said, that they are the way that I want them to look. But obviously I'm not that fast a stitcher, so if you're interested in model stitching, let me know. So yeah, I hope that you guys love Laluna, and I hope that you look forward to the new designs that are coming. And each time I do one, I will make sure to do a special announcement video so that you know that there is something there. You also have the ability on my website. Many of you know that you can subscribe to be notified of new posts when I post them, so blog posts, etc. There is also a place to sign up for and get notified of new patterns when they are uploaded and released. So you can also do that on my website if you're interested in that. So that's it. Thank you guys for inspiring me and sticking with me, and I'm really looking forward to what comes next. So thank you.